Hi guys, this is Klazart bringing another audio commentary, and this time I'm commentating on Game 2 of the best of 5 matchup between Savior and Zero in the round of 8 of the MSL. And it looks like we've got Zero in yellow at the top left-hand corner of the map at the 10 o'clock position, and Savior in red at the bottom right-hand corner of the map at the 4 o'clock position, and Zero blinking hard there, doesn't seem to be hugely confident, surprisingly enough. I would have thought he would be a lot more confident, considering he's just scored the first round, he's just landed the first punch, he's drawn first blood, he is up 1-0 in this massive series, and really, he really would like to cement his place here, would really like to push hard and score 2-0 and make it really hard for Savior to fight back in this. Both players scouting, looks like in the wrong direction, both players scouting northwards, and this is going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see how Savior responds. Savior went for a crazy all-in build in the last matchup. It didn't work for him. He left himself exposed. Zero scouted it eventually, and despite Savior's cleverness, it didn't come off. So he needs to do something here to get himself back in the game. Savior will be desperate to take a victory here, and Savior looks like he's doing the extractor trick to get himself an extra drone. So we might be seeing some sort of a rush build from Savior here, because he has gone for that extractor trick. The problem for Savior is that he hasn't scouted his opponent's space, and his opponent is cross-map, which gives Zero, it works both ways. First of all, it gives Zero the time to be able to get ready and defend if Savior does decide to do something crazy, though he hasn't yet put a spawning pool down. However, at the same time, if Savior and Zero looks like he's going for possibly a 12 pool or 12 hatch build, Savior now sending a drone out to his natural expo. Looks like Savior might be going for a 12 hatch build yet again, and Savior has put that hatchery down. Zero yet to put a hatchery or a spawning pool down. He's now got his second overlord out and sent it to scout. Zero now putting that spawning pool down. So once again, Savior going for a 12 hatchery build, Zero going for a 12 pool build. So once again, Savior being slightly more ambitious in his choice of build than Zero, it has to be said. This is gonna be interesting. Again, Zero in the red, Zero in the yellow, Savior in the red, and Savior really needs to get a victory here. He doesn't want, even though he is in great form, even though he has been playing good StarCraft, he doesn't want to be 2-0 behind and find himself in the mammoth uphill task to climb against Zero. And Zero with 2-0 is gonna have just so much confidence. If Savior can deliver a punch right now to Zero, if he can deliver a knockdown to Zero right now, he might affect the boy's confidence. He might be able to shake him a little bit and then take control of this matchup. But thus far, Zero in a really strong position. Zero now taking his natural expo as well. So neither player having scouted each other. Zero now has now got his spawning pool complete, and he's now got his Zerglings. He hasn't started up his lair yet. He obviously doesn't have enough gas for that. And it's just going to be interesting to see. Zerg versus Zerg is just such a lottery. It's just down to the builds that the players decide to go for and what they try and do. And obviously a huge Savior fan there with the poster, completely confident in the ability of Savior. And there's a long way to go in this matchup just yet. There's still another 4 games potentially to be played between these two players, but nevertheless, I don't think Savior will want to leave it that long. And no lair yet for Zero. It'll be interesting to see if he's getting speed upgraded Zerglings already this early on in the game. He did take his natural expo slightly slower than Savior, so he will be behind a little bit. Savior stopped mining gas, so Savior is definitely going for speed upgraded Zerglings. Savior has stopped mining gas, and this is going to be interesting here. So the Zerglings are going to run past each other on the map, and looks like Zero would just only produce a handful of Zerglings. I don't think he produced a lot, and Savior looks like he might be going for another all-in build. He looks like he might be really committing himself to just mass Zerglings again, which is basically what he did the last time around. Zero has started up his lair build, and I'm sure he knows that Savior's got mass lings heading his way. The only advantage that Savior has slightly is that Zero's overlord has taken a long time to get around, so that might buy Savior a little bit more time. Savior trying to, I think, hide his Zerglings from Zero, but I'm sure Zero by now knows that Savior's got a decent number of Zerglings. Savior's doing his best to conceal. In the last match, that was the big problem for Savior, was that Zero knew what was coming at him, and now Zero is short. No, Savior was trying to hide his Zerglings until he had Zergling speed upgraded. Zero is going to be pumping Zerglings from both his hatcheries as well. Savior now coming in with the Zerglings. If he can put pressure at Zero's natural, that's going to be his best chance to take this game down. Savior's got a massive number advantage. Zero pulling drones out to try and help defend his Zerglings, put the shield around, and now the big battle going in. Zero's outnumbered almost 2-1, and Savior with his speedling upgrade as well, and Zero obviously going for the lair. Zero's in huge trouble. All of his Zerglings have been wiped out, and he's going to lose the 3 drones that he had there as well, and Savior's now in Zero's main, and Zero's got nothing to defend. The Savior's going to take this down. Savior this time trying exactly what he did in the last game, but this time he's going to pull it off, and now he's trying to focus on the spawning pool to force Zero to come out with the Zerglings and defend. Zero manages to produce a few more Zerglings. He's just trying to buy himself some time. Savior, though, still with an overwhelming advantage of numbers. Zero once again going to be forced to fight. Savior with more and more reinforcements streaming into Zero's base. Zero trying to produce more Zerglings, desperately trying to defend. He's just so badly outnumbered. Another couple of Zero Zerglings are going to get caught off just outside the ramp at his natural expo, and now Zero's natural expo is going to come under fire from all of Savior's Zerglings. Savior's got just so many Zerglings there. There's no way Zero's going to be able to come back in this game, and Xavier is going to take this game down, and he is going to level it at 1-1. This is going to be absolutely massive, and you can just see the exasperated sigh on Zero's face. He just cannot believe that this has happened to him, and you've got to give a lot of credit for Xavier. It was risky, it was brave, but it was oh so Xavier. And this is, I'm sorry guys for using so many poker analogies. It's just I've been watching a lot of poker recently, but this is just like when you show your cards to your opponent after a massive bluff. You just want to let your opponent know this is what I'm capable of. Don't think that I'm just going to play standard. I am capable of anything. And you've got to be ready for it. And if you slip up, I will punish you. And Xavier has punished Zero in this game. He's leveled the score up at 1-1. Zero will be disappointed that he wasn't able to make it 2-0. But this matchup is right back in the mix. And Xavier looking confident. And Zero looks distraught after that. He's got to realize it's still just 1-1. It's still pretty even. Yes, he was caught a little bit with his pants down. The cross positions actually ended up helping Xavier because it took Zero Scout that much longer to get around, and therefore leaving him that less time for preparation. Nevertheless, it's only 1-1. He's got still a very good chance to win against Xavier, and now this matchup effectively, folks, turns into a best of 3 from this point on, and it's anybody's game. This is Klazart. Thanks for listening.